Hello everyone, how's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and let's resume our complete beginner's guide to Outward, shall we? Picking up where we left off in the mountain, trying to make our way, trying to figure out what our next step should be. And you can see there's a bunch of dead trogs where we have been making progress. And, you know, I'm just going to ensure that we've explored every little thing that we can. And we didn't go this way, did we? Because here's a mana stone. And you always want to mine these. We went overweight. That's sad. But we can fix that. Pretty easily by making a decision on, you know, do I want all of this raw meat, for example? I've got some heavy stuff. Actually, I can eat a dry mushroom bar to help me with some of my burnt health. And make sure we have a cooked bird egg in our gut. And that we are not thirsty. Okay, wonderful. And that'll do it. And we see through these bars that there's a bad guy over there, and that kind of gives us a hint as to which direction we want to go. Oop, here's another place to mine a mana stone. This will put us overweight, of course. And we got a Hackmanite, yes. But I don't care about being slightly overweight when we're talking about mana stones. This is such a wonderful place to get mana stones, especially if you're trying to go as a mage. Okay. Now there's a place down here. I'm just going to keep hitting this guy until he dies. Yeah, there we go. The spellcasters can be so slow. Okay, cool. So what we did was we found this dead knight, and we've got the mana troglodyte. We're going to loot that. Our lantern is almost burnt out, so let's just go to crafting and craft not the old lantern. Uh-oh, somebody's here. Okay. Just a regular trog, no problem. He does have the poison. Oh, he's down. Get out of here. Okay. He's actually the armored troglodyte. When you see that better spear, the mushroom halberd, you know that that's actually a better one. Anyway, is there anybody else who's going to try to fly in and hit me? You'd better not. There's a ton of cool stuff in here, though. All right. Let me just look around the corner here to be sure that we are... Nah, there's a guy over there for sure, but I think he might stick there and not come into this room. We need to put more oil in our lantern. So I'm going to go to crafting. And you see the old lantern is like, you know, this. But I'm going to just do manual recipe, I guess. Because I don't think I've ever refilled the explorer lantern. So let me put this with some oil. Doop, doop, doop. Where did my oil go? Here it is. And so the explorer lantern recipe is separate from the old lantern. So just craft it once to get that. And this guy has a rage potion, an ice rag, a recipe for alchemy, and a palladium scrap. So remember, it's always random what you're going to get. You're not going to see the same stuff from that I got. I'm going to go ahead and just rip apart this guy's staff for some mana stones. And I'm moving slowly because bag. And let's see. Let's pick up this mushroom. I know. Overweight. Is this... No. Let me see what he has. He has some wood. That's not enough for us to build a fire at the moment. So what I'm going to do is go to my bag, and I'm going to just get rid of I have a bunch of iron scraps, a bunch of hide. I can read this to just learn the antidote recipe. And be happy about that. Let me see. What's really, really heavy that I have? Insect husk. Remember, you could come back here. I'm just going to drop this raw meat. And we're still overweight by a little bit. The berries are pretty heavy. Bedroll. Yeah, these are actually heavy. The turnips. And so are the fish. These are... I don't want to drop meat at the moment, but I'm going to drop, like, 3 of the turnips. I'm doing this so that I'm not overweight. I need to fight, or at least see what this is in here and debate about whether or not I want to fight it. Yeah, it's like a giant undulating... Oh, no, never mind. Okay. It's mean, but we should be okay. Just keep hitting this thing, knock it down. Ow. It did hit us, but we got it. And it's an arcane elemental. So it drops this elemental particle and 8 mana stones. So again, of course we're going to go overweight with this many mana stones. But the mana stones are just tremendous. We could, if we could set up a fire, we could turn them into... I'm going to use a bandage. We could turn the mana stones into powder to sell. Oh, I've got the wrong lantern equipped. No. Here, I don't want this. What do I need to do? Just drop it? Yeah, interesting. Maybe when I think when I replenished, that happened. But you see there's a trog chest here. I'm just going to open this up. And inside we find a simple tent. Okay. This is heavy, but it's great camping supplies. I take everything, and now I can probably barely move. But this will take us back to the room with the knight. Or the corpse of the knight. All right, so you know what? I don't need 2 lanterns, and this doesn't sell for a bunch. I'm going to scrap it. And what else do I want to say goodbye to? I mean, iron scraps are just not super valuable. We can get rid of this bedroll now that we have the tent. I'm just going to drop the fish. You'd love to get enough wood to make a fire, so well, I don't have a cook pot, but I could just roast up a bunch of this stuff and, you know, make life sort of easier. Remember, though, as far as I understand it, nothing despawns in this. So I'm going to keep exploring, and we could come back here and just pick up all of this stuff. So we killed the arcane elemental. Man, I could barely move. I got to drop something else. I can't walk around like this. It's awful. I don't want to drop the bones. I will drop these spikes. That's fine. We're a little bit better at moving right now. Okay, so let's go back up the steps. Get out my weapon. And let's see what's down this way. Alright, let me just take a gander over here. Okay. Let me run around here. Okay, so we see the bad guys that I believe we could spy through the bars from before. And what I might want to do is just drop my pack and pull out my weapon and try to fight these guys one-on-one. Come on. Okay, the spellcaster is coming, which is not great. Oh, he's healing his buddy. Okay, we gotta kill this guy then. He doesn't have very much, stamina to resist us just spamming attack, so we're gonna get rid of him. Yes, we got enough firewood to make, the fire like I was talking about. So, we could actually... I can barely move again, but the door back there is the one that we want to get through. And I'm going to go ahead and craft a campfire kit. I'm going to place a campfire immediately. And we can even put our alchemy kit on top if we wanted to. We're going to light the campfire. We're going to use it. We could cook whatever we wanted. Oh, but I need my backpack, right. My pocket is overweight. If your pocket gets overburdened, you're ruined. We got to craft away this item. And let me check my pocket now. Pocket is okay, so I can move much better. And then we're going to go to any ingredient. And we could, cook all these crab eyes. There we go. And we can also cook this shrimp to preserve it. And, no, we don't want to cook that again. The raw meat we got rid of. Okay, so then let's go ahead and drop in our alchemy kit. And see what we can, refine. So we can make crystal powder, which is, like skooma or, a serious drug that you would use to restore your mana, and it sells well. So we could make this just to sell it. We could make an antidote potion, because now we know how to do it. If we don't have one, we can also make a warmth potion. I'm going to make one crystal powder, actually 2. I'm just doing this. We could turn it in as the quest in town to make money. And you see it lightened us by just getting rid of some of the mana stones that we have. We still have 17, which is a great amount. And if I wanted to make an antidote, I could do this. Or a warm potion. I'll make another antidote. Help lighten myself up a bit. Okay, that's good. And I'm going to pick up my alchemy kit. I want it. This will weigh us down a bit, but that's okay. Let's check this box. And there is an iron great hammer, an antidote, a poison rag, and 2 occult remains. So we're going to take the occult remains. We're going to take this great hammer. It's super heavy, unfortunately, but all of this stuff can sell. Now, the great hammer, I don't think it sells tremendously well. It might sell for like 50, maybe, but I feel like it might be much less than that. So I'm just going to break it for the and I might have lost money on that exchange, like a reasonable amount, but I'm doing it so that I can move. Okay, so now that we've cleared the way to this doorway, we can come through and enter the conflux chambers. And this is where we're going to make a major decision with our character. Okay. So, again, there's some shrooms, and, you can gather these if you want. It's starting to weigh me down. I'm not, like, demanding that I have it. And let's see here. There is a bridge that goes over. If you go up this way, I believe it'll take you to the other entrance to this area if we would have taken the path that's associated with the red banner, the church's path or whatever. Yeah, the heroic kingdom's path. This would end us up here. Either way, you end up here depending on which path you take. And then we're just going to run over this bridge. I've never fallen off, but I don't know if you can, but just don't mess with it. There's another adventurer's corpse here. They have a round shield. They have a potion. And I'm going to take everything. I could sell it, maybe, but no, it's too heavy. And can I break this up? I can. And it lightens this up just a little bit. And what does this go down into? Okay, so this is like a massive chamber with mana stones, and I am going to leave this and come back if we want. I want to go here, and look at that. Start talking to these people. It's the ley line. We finally made it. This is the 5th Watcher.
Welcome.
Bow
your head
okay.
In respect, for you have come to the end of a ley line.
Yes, we have. The place where the very world itself will pour its power into you if you make room for it. To open yourself to mana is to open yourself to the flow of the world. To use magic is to command the world to obey your desires. Master magic, and you master the flow that echoes through us all. If you are prepared to sacrifice some of yourself for it, and you are prepared to miss many nights of sleep, we welcome you. May the power of mana lead you on the road to success. So interestingly, they kind of spread some information that is actually helpful as a clue about mana, meaning like you regenerate mana not by sleeping like you do with health and stamina, but by actually doing the opposite. So it's kind of a different game when you're trying to get all of your wheels filled up. Now, we don't have the mana wheel yet. We have to keep talking and moving up to get that. Down here, you can see there's some houses and things. There's more folk that we can talk with. You can also gather ley line water in an empty water skin if you would like. And here we go. This is 3rd Watcher.
Welcome. I am a Watcher of the ley line.
Do you have any questions about the art of magic? What is mana and how do you control it?
Mana is the energy that flows through all things.
Okay. With proper preparation, you may use it to force the world to bend to your will by casting spells. Alone, most spells are weak, but combined or used in the right ritual sequence, their power is made manifest. And this is something that I'm still tinkering with as I learn the game, but basically, you get some spells, but you can discover all sorts of new spells by trying different combinations, different items, and different things while you're casting to get different effects. It's a really interesting magic system that the game has.
If you wish to recharge your reserves of mana, having a meal will help.
Honestly, I've gotten a little sick of eating so often. You could pull mana from lingering souls with the right technique.
You can rest to recharge mana, but be warned.
Your maximum mana capacity can only be maintained with rigid focus. If you sleep, it will take time before you'll be able to call upon your full reserves of mana again. A sleeping mind loses its connection to the real world after all. So what they're saying is, yeah, you can rest to recharge mana, but then your maximum mana actually goes down. So it's like when you rest, you recharge burnt stamina and burnt health, but you don't recharge burnt mana. To recharge burnt mana, you have to actually use your magic. So it's a kind of change in how you get yourself ready again. However, there's lots of things, like, for example, this shrimp that we got that will just give you mana regen. So you rest to recharge, get your mana back, but then you need to then cast mana and then eat stuff to restore mana. And sometimes it's better to not rest at all. There is a bedroll. You could sleep here. And there is a turnip potage recipe. So let's learn this immediately. Just pick it up and learn it. And let's talk to this guy.
Magic is the weapon of a patient warrior.
You cannot charge into danger and unleash spells as you please. You must plan your attacks and bring enemies into a fight as to your advantage. Never forget that spells must be used in the right combination. So again, they're talking about the combination, but they're also talking about how magic works in this game. You have to create, just like in the tutorial, you have to create the sigil on the ground and then bring enemies to that area because you can only cast it where you create your sigil.
Perfect.
I've always enjoyed coming here. You can really feel the hum of mana as it passes through the mountain. Okay, yeah, sure. And look at this. Well, there is a kitchen right here. So we were talking about getting rid of some items. Let's do that. Let's make a bunch of stuff, right? So let's make a bitter spicy tea, craft. Let's make a soothing tea, craft. Let's make a dry mushroom bar, 100%. Let's make some jam right away. Jam. Tartine. Travel ration. I'm not going to make another travel ration. I'm fine with using the turnips, but that's it. Okay, good. That's all I really want to cook for the moment. And anything else? Just look for the shinies. All right, let's go up. So we're going to go back out and around up the ramp here. And here's a turnip. And here is Fourth Watcher. There is a boat to leave down here. Do not leave yet. We're not done.
Feel free to use one of our boats to return to the surface.
This guy also sells stuff. I want to buy something. So what you could do is, I mean, not only buy his stuff if you want, but you could sell stuff. Now here's a trick. If you want to cast spells, you do not need this lexicon right now. This is for casting runic spells. The spells we're going to get here are not runic, so you don't have to have this. You know, there are some items here that you can buy if you want to be a caster, like the Scholar's Attire, which reduce the cost of casting spells by reducing mana. You can see there's all sorts of other good stuff here, but what we're going to do is sell. I'm going to sell this alchemy kit right away. And this elemental particle is like a kind of a crafting thing. You could keep it or you could sell it. It doesn't weigh a ton, so I'm not, you know, dying to sell it. But I am going to say, okay, is there anything else that I want to sell here? I'm just going to confirm the transaction and sell that one item. And that should lighten our load significantly. And here we go. This is the one you want to talk to, First Watcher.
So, you have come. I sensed that someone who had the potential for magic was on their way. If you wish to gain magic, you must first give.
Okay. You must sacrifice health and stamina to the ley line, and in return, what you gave up will be given back to you as mana.
Be careful how much of your life and stamina you give up, because you can never get it back.
Yikes.
The first time you gain mana, you will gain your first spell, the spark.
It may seem small and weak, but when combined with other spells or components, it can produce powerful effects. So let's talk about the thing that he just said previously. Or she, I can't tell. What's so important here is that you can never change this. So the decision that you make right here is permanent. That's what he means, or they mean by you can never get it back. So we have to proceed very carefully. So if you go up here and interact with the ley line, you will do mana channeling, and this will allow you to basically get mana at expense of max health and max stamina. Now, this is, like I said, you can never get it back, right? So, what you need to do is make a decision on how much mana do you want to use. And this is counterintuitive if you want to be a spellcaster. I wanted to be more of a magic user, so I put a lot into this. I did actually this, trying to balance out health, stamina, and mana, just to kind of put myself in the middle. This is too much mana for being a spellcaster because the gear of the mage actually reduces the cost. So this is like excessive. You want to do something more like this or this if you're trying to be a hybrid. But for us, I recommend just doing +1, getting yourself 20 mana. It's actually plenty to cast things, and it doesn't reduce your health and stamina by a ton. You can mess around with this, and if you're not sure what you want to do, you could go spoiler and look online for some builds that you want to go towards, because I don't actually consider it a massive spoiler if you want to do that in some ways, because you can't change it, and you can't really know. The game tells you can't change it, but it doesn't give you advice on, like, okay, if you want to go for this kind of a build, then you need this much, or anything like that. So I'm going to just say, I took +4 in my Let's Play, and everybody was like, oh gosh, that's way too much. And now you're going to need to be this kind of a build, and I really wasn't, that wasn't what I wanted to do necessarily. So what you want to do is actually go perhaps +1 if you want to be just more of a sword and board. It will give you some mana, but not hurt your health and stamina. So that's what we're going to do. And it says once applied, it's permanent. So I kind of thought, oh yeah, okay, it's permanent, but maybe I can come back and tweak this, or I could talk to somebody and pay them and tweak it. I don't believe you can. I believe it's set. So choose wisely. We did it, and we just learned the Spark spell. Now let's talk to him.
Listen to me.
Now that mana flows through your veins, I could teach you a new spell to welcome you as a mage. And you can learn Fire or Reveal Souls. You want Fire, okay? It's more basic. It helps you do damage. So let's take Fire.
Welcome, mage. May your talent for magic only grow stronger.
Now you can train, and it says if you want a simple spell, I could teach you Flamethrower for 50 silvers. Now, this spell sounds really cool, and it probably is very powerful, but in my experience early, Spark does what you want. Like, this is more, and it takes more steps to do. So I think we're just going to stick with Spark. We're going to say no thanks. And you could talk to them further.
Never underestimate the humble Spark spell.
Okay.
If you wish to learn the most complex of spells, seek out rune magic.
Only by properly combining them will you unlock their power. They are spells that require experimentation but are flexible once you understand them. Okay. So, what this means is, let's move over here. Rune magic is in Berg, and we might go there anyway. Well, we will go there at some point, but right now we have Spark, and we got that. Let's go ahead and drink. We're thirsty. And you can see in our skills panel, here we have now the Sigil of Fire, and we have Spark. So I'm actually going to, on right trigger, I'm going to just put this as, I'm going to push X and say assign to a quick slot, and we're going to put it as Y. And then I'm going to push X, assign to a quick slot for Spark, and put it as X. So if I want to do these things, I can. Now notice how in the bottom right, for Fire Sigil, it says 1, and that's because every Fire Sigil requires a Fire Stone. So with an alchemy kit, we can combine mana stones and start crafting more fire stones with it tells you with a stone and oil. So we just need a stone and oil to do that. But we're going to have to go back home because I sold my alchemy kit, and we don't need to cast spells that much anyway. So what we're going to do now is go back home. We have too much stuff. We need to drop off a bunch and talk about using magic if we wish to kind of spice up our game. Everyone, I hope you're still finding this series to be useful and fun. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.